Metal Workers Trade Union, Limusa, is rejecting the appointment of Daniel Du Toit as the new CEO of Denel. The union says there are more qualified black people who can fill the position. To respond to this, we're joined by Denel Board Chairperson Montla Hlahla. Good evening. Thanks very much for coming through. Well, Limusa is asking why couldn't you find a black person to fill this position?
I think the question should be the other way around, to say, did the board look for a correct candidate? And out of the people that have applied, were they able to find something close to assist? The cry of Limusa about transformation, it comes from a right source, I believe, because I think as the Department of Labor once said, if you want to grow your business and become sustainable, the best thing you can do is to align to employment equity as well as affirmative action. More than anything else, in looking for a leader in a country that is transforming and changing, you recognize immediately the importance of people and institutions. The call to hire out of all of the candidates a guy who brings a plus with the technology understanding, having been an MD of a business that produces not only signaling, electronics, and all of the other intelligence equipment that we would never have had before, was just cherry on the cake. Transformation is important to the board of Denel. And definitely out of the 18 EXCO members, by the way, there is only one Indian man and 4 whites. But we are determined that for the bright South Africans out there, especially African women who are CAs, who want to be part of an industry that is exciting, we are welcoming them for the next roles to please look at the opportunity to come and join us. We have looked at it on a group role. We know that the next set, which is CFO and executive HR, that we would like to seek top African women to come and fill up those posts. We are approaching it comprehensively, not sectionally, because of where Denel is. So
you are saying you looked and looked, but couldn't find a person who was better than Daniel Du Toit?
I'm saying that having looked, with all the limitations of looking, if you had the luxury of time, maybe you would have been able to convince the 46 people who withdrew their applications and said they would not be interested to work for a state-owned enterprise. Maybe we would have gotten more. But out of the pool of great candidates that we have had, Danny has definitely given us an added edge, besides all of the commercial, the transformational and turnaround experiences that we were looking for. The board made a conscious decision that would comprehensively look at an EXCO team that is transformed, but in the case of the MD, it is definitely Danny that has inspired us to push us in a different direction. Denel deserves a fresh start, and I think we are happy to have made that decision. That we may differ is because our perspectives on what is good leadership differs. Limusa, being a union in a division of Denel, which is DLS, their experiences are valid, and transformation is on our priority list, and we will make sure that we never let it down.
Now, you're saying that in Denel's EXCO, you have 1 Indian and 4 whites, out of an EXCO of how many people?
18.
18.
18. That's what we've inherited.
Now, Limusa says when they asked why you have decided to go with Daniel Du Toit, they didn't get the answer you are giving me now. They say the answer they were given was that Daniel Du Toit had volunteered, and it was on that basis that you took him. In other words, in fact, they went further to say from where they stand, or from what they know, there was no process.
I just need to correct a few things. LEMUSA is a recognized union in a division of Denel called Denel Land Systems. It is probable that when they asked the question within Denel Land System, somebody gave them the context of the land systems. In the context of the recognized unions of Denel, as Denel Group, LEMUSA is not one of those. So it is highly probable that what they are giving to you is the input that they had received from whoever they asked within DLS. But today you are looking at the chairperson of the board of Denel, representing the accounting authority of Denel. We made a call to transform Denel. We made a call to stabilize Denel. And we come out to account to all the questions that you have.
So you say you did have a process?
Yeah, I can't explain where LEMUSA with DLS because they only belong to a section of Denel, where they got their answers from. Even the questions that make me so, I had my heart cried out for them when I listened to the interview, that the issues they are raising within DLS are correct. And we will deal with them.
Well, I did ask that question because, I mean, the report they are quoting was obviously the land systems report, and I did take note of that.
And I've read
but let's forget, I mean, who they are for a second and perhaps get to the question more directly. You did have a process.
Imagine a board of people that have experienced and lived PFMA break the very rule. We have advertised. We have received 44 applicants through the advertorial process. We have, because it's a CEO role, added that with headhunting and looking for people. We had about 134 applicants, I think. 46 rejected us. They said, especially, sadly, mostly black people saying, why would I go to a CEO, to be a CEO of a state-owned enterprise when there is so much angst? We are determined to make it more attractive to people to come to Denel. It's in an exciting sector. It deals with many different technologies that people want to be a part of. And I'm using the opportunity to say to African women out there, to say there is a fantastic role for CFO, for the group, and a fantastic one for HR. When the ads come out, please do not fear SOEs. They are a training ground for us, and we would like to start building a pipeline of experienced people for the defense industry.
How would you describe the organization at the moment? Is it in a good state, both financially, and does it have a business case going forward?
The thing that motivates us the most is that we will be able to carve a more exciting business case. Denel will go through another year, if not two, with deficits. I think you've heard that the last year, which is the 2017-18 financial year, we had a deficit of 2 billion. We'll probably, as things come out of the woodworks for this financial year ending 2019, we'll still have some deficit. But what we have found within Denel is that if we can clear out all of the cobwebs and deal with the corruption issues, we can salvage one of the most exciting businesses for the country.
And appointing Daniel du Toit was not to pacify people you may think have a direct stake and interest in Denel going forward. In other words, putting a white person there will actually do Denel some good.
It's not about him, yes. And we can't run away from the contradictions of race for this country. And I accept and I take it as an input to the board, for the board to continue and ensure that the entire EXCO is comprehensively South African as per the requirement of the law, but simply to sustain our institutions and to ensure that South Africa shines again.
Okay, that's what we're going to leave. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Coming.